loves, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be breaking down the full moon in Capricorn that is happening July 13th. We have quite a bit to discuss, so we're going to jump in and get started. But before I just want to remind everybody that tickets for the Healing Generational Trauma, the workshop, are still available. So if you haven't gotten tickets yet, definitely make sure you check that out in the link down below. It's going to be part 2 of the Healing Generational Trauma workshop series that we're doing. If you missed part 1 and you still want to do part 1, it is available on Patreon on the High Priest, High Priestess level. Patreon members basically get access to all of my past workshops, which is a really cool perk that you can use. So definitely make sure you take advantage of it. And also, before the code ends today, I'm having a workbook sale on all of my workbooks. You can use the code workbook sale in all caps to get $5 off all of my workbooks. So if you want to collect them all, do the thing. But highly recommend, especially if you're trying to do some healing, introspection, and a lot of it challenges you to kind of address different topics, and all of my workbooks are different topics as well. So link down below to all of the things. Okay, so we're gonna get started. As always, we're gonna talk about the planetary positions. We're gonna go into the aspects. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a spell guide of what I think you should be doing, and then we're gonna look at the tarot and oracle cards as well. So right from the bat, planetary positions: Sun will be in Cancer, Moon will be in Capricorn, Mercury will be in Cancer, Venus will be in Gemini, Mars will be in Taurus, Jupiter will be in Aries, Saturn will be in Aquarius in retrograde, Uranus will be in Taurus, Neptune will be in Pisces in retrograde, Pluto will be in Capricorn in retrograde. Okay, so we're under quite a bit of retrogrades, generational planets. The majority of generational planets are in retrograde. Never a dull day. Fun times always. You gotta be challenged, right? And so the first main aspect that we're looking at is the sun in an opposition to the moon. This is definitely going to be a interesting balance and a little bit of a give and take between Cancer energies and Capricorn energies, and especially because the moon is not exalted in Cancer. The moon is actually in his fall. Is not exalted in Capricorn. The moon is actually in his fall in Capricorn. So it generally doesn't like being in Capricorn because the moon cannot actively express itself the best in Capricorn, because Capricorn is the opposite of Cancer. It's just not an emotional sign. Okay, Cancer is the one that rules over emotions. Cancer is the one that rules over that emotional, intuitive self-expression. Capricorn, very logical, but within Moon's energy, when the moon is in Capricorn, definitely can lend to suppressing emotional feelings and suppressing even aspects of your intuition, aspects of listening to yourself. So you have to be very mindful when working with the moon in Capricorn. I'm not saying that it's not, workable. It's just that the moon does not do its general best in Capricorn, because Capricorn is a very structured, not ebby and flowy, not, super emotional, but very, very structured. So you do have to keep that in mind as you are kind of navigating how you're going to be, working through this. So there will be a little bit of that balance between the two signs, because Cancer and Capricorn are opposites, and they do very well to balance each other's energies out. So while you might feel a little bit emotional during this time, you also might feel a little bit more emotionally grounded, which is also a good way to work with moon being in Capricorn, is to try to emotionally ground yourself into some of the things that you're feeling through, or like, let's say you're intuitive feeling your way through. Great time to really emotionally ground yourself in certain things, but it can get a little bit complex with this opposition, because you might want to do something, but then you might not feel like it's the right thing to do, and then that conflict could cause a little bit of a back and forth internally with you, where you're not really sure how to proceed from that. The sun will also be in a conjunction with Mercury, because both of them are in Cancer. And so mentally, we're definitely feeling our emotions more. Especially when it comes to messages from your ancestors, your spirits, your guides, or even downloads and messages that you're getting. Generally, you might be getting very specific or particular messages. You might feel like, your spirits are a little bit loud, or like they're very much like giving you very clear and concise messages during this time. You might feel like also during, like, whether you're meditating, whether you're trying to come up with a solution creatively, like let's say you're trying to have a breakthrough about something, like it's just coming, you're kind of emotionally or intuitively tapping into that energy where it's just like you're finding the solutions by tapping into the emotional component about it. So there's definitely a very much ebbing and flowing there. Mentally, we're definitely leaning more towards the water element and working with our ego and listening to ourselves in that way. But emotionally, we might feel a little bit conflicted. And it's just because of that opposition there. The sun is also going to be in a trine with Neptune. Neptune being in Pisces, also being in a retrograde. Sun in trine with Neptune is definitely going to, if you do any type of divination or any type of spiritual healing, or even expressing yourself or releasing any type of creative work, any type of glamour magics or anything like that, you might see a breakthrough in certain things, in certain aspects, certain things just like breaking through, or you being able to create on a core ego level, especially the things that you need or the things that you want, specifically the things that you want. Things that you need, yes, but things that you want, because the ego wants a lot of things. It might not need a ton of things, but it wants a lot of things, and it will feed itself. So, you gotta keep, you gotta be aware of that. But when it comes to this energy, it's definitely Sun trine Neptune can be very spiritually serving when it comes to the information and the messages that you're getting spiritually. Great time to like get a reading, especially if you feel like you're kind of navigating in a certain direction. Like you're like, you know what? I feel like this is where I should be headed, or this is what I should be working through, or where I should be headed, but I'm not quite sure. Let me just get that confirmation. Great time for synchronicities. You might see certain things just kind of be very, very bold or clear. Or if you ask your spirits, your ancestors, like, hey, can you give me a sign? Can you give me a message? Can you like tell me like, hey, give me a sign, a clear sign that I know that this is the right thing. You might be able to see that like in your face, like very, very, very clear during this time. But this is also a great time to do some very, some great glamour magic if you're up to it, especially if whatever it is that you're doing requires or has anything to do with other people. This is a great time to build your strength and your energy and fuel that into magnetizing the things that you want by making sure that the way that you're appearing in these situations is self-serving to you. So this is a great time to do some glamour magic as well. The sun will be in an opposition to Pluto, so there are going to be so very much there's an elevation of how we are transforming and how we are evolving. You might be shedding or even like, let's say you feel empowered to do some glamour magic or do something for yourself, or really kind of like get yourself ready, or the way that you're kind of navigating even your own self-power within those moments. You might feel a little bit more like self-centered or self-focused, or even after like a transition period, or maybe something that needs to be released has been released, you might feel a lot stronger, or like your power is just coming back to you during this time. You might get a little bit more of a boost of energy, or you might feel very sluggish or extra tired. Definitely make sure you're taking it easy on yourself. Always self-care and self-love practice. But this is definitely, can be very, this is a very decision kind of making type of aspect. You might find yourself like saying, you know what, this is what I need to do and I'm gonna do it, period. That's it. I'm not going back and forth. Like I got that confirmation that I needed and that's it. That's it. I'm not going, I'm not arguing with anybody else about it. You might feel very, very certain about, certain things as well, and allow your intuition to also play its hand on that. Pluto is in Capricorn. So there is going to be that grounding, that stability, that restructuring of the foundation that Capricorn often brings. It brings that stability. So if there's something that you are releasing during this time, it is absolutely for your own benefit, because Capricorn always sets themselves up for success, because that's just how we are. So great time to really look at and analyze how your decision would actually be the best thing for you. Okay, for you. The next thing, the moon will be in opposition to Mercury, just like the sun. And that's because, again, Mercury is in Capricorn, same as, you know, the sun and moon are opposing each other. So when it comes to the moon in opposition to Mercury, there are certain ways that you might not even like the way that you have to go about doing something or concluding something or ending something, or, you know, just cutting something off. You might not like the way that you have to go about it, but like it might literally be the best way for you to go about it. And the way that it happens might just literally need to be the way that it happens. Like it needed to be that way. So definitely with that energy, make sure that you are just on an ego level, on a core level, that you are comfortable with the decisions that you're making. Some of it might seem a little bit like flighty. Like I can see someone like quitting their job, or like, you know, really making a decision that, you know, like let's say they've been in a really tough situation, or they've been feeling ungrounded within a certain relationship or a certain situation. Be like, you know what, I'm done. I can see that happening. Really important for you to make sure that, again, you're making the best decision for you. You are your first priority, and that's what you need to take care of. The moon will also be in a trine with Uranus. This can make this a very emotionally combative and chaotic. Uranus is in Taurus right now. And so it could definitely, you know, lead to some emotional kind of outbursts. You might have a breakdown where you're just like tired of a behavior or tired of a situation. You're just like, you know what, I'm done. Like literally having that I'm done moment, and releasing, and just like, you know what, I can't. This is where the buck stops. This is where I'm not going to cross. This is where I just can't do this. So you might see that also come into play. So make sure that you, again, you're very gentle with yourself, but you're also standing by what you know at your core, your ego, what is right for you. That's really what it comes down to. The moon will also be in a conjunction to Pluto, because both of them are in Capricorn. So emotionally, we are making very decisive decisions that are transformative to our future experience. Because again, like I just told you, both of these are in Capricorn. Capricorn sets themselves up for success for the future. That includes cutting the weeds. That includes like if we have to, like, if maybe we invested on something, or we thought something could have worked out or something like that, but then it's just like making itself apparent that it's not going to work out. We will cut it. It's just not, we're not gonna just sit here and go back and forth forever. Like we will cut that shit at the source. So there's definitely a lot of transformations that are happening. But the thing about Capricorn energy is that it's going to try to leave you as grounded as possible. So this is a great time to do grounding work. This is a great time to do ego work or ego healing, and to really focus on. You can also do a lot of ancestor work through this time, and you might also see that you are transforming or healing a lot of different generational traumas through this time as well. It can be a very, very emotional like transformative time, but it can also be very healing to the point where it's like something that needed to be done for a minute now finally breaks through, and finally that thing is resolved. So there's definitely like a breakthrough happening. And mind you, keep in mind, we're in a cardinal season, and this is a cardinal moon. Okay. Cardinal meaning action-based, action-oriented. Cancer is a cardinal sign. Capricorn is a cardinal sign. So you might be feeling very like something got to get done, this has to stop, this needs to, like, you might be feeling very actiony, very like this needs to be resolved. Like you might be feeling very much like that. There is a purpose why you might feel called to act, and that is that cardinal energy. So keep that in mind as you're making your moves as well. Venus will be in a trine with Saturn, and Venus will also be in a square with Neptune. You might see some breakdowns within relationships, certain relationships that have been going on, whether friendships or relationships of some sort. Even when it comes to business or work or jobs, certain things break through. You might see, you might want to quit. You might see some people doing that. You might see some people, separating or something like that, especially if something's not meant to be long term. Venus in a trine with Saturn. Saturn is very, very, it's like stability. Saturn is going to ask you with Venus, like, are you going to marry this person? Are you planning on staying with them for like longer than 5 years? Because if so, okay, they can stay. But if not, like revisit, because right now you're wasting time. Right now you could be having way more pleasure than you are. Right now you could be setting yourself up for success better than you have been. Like Saturn's going to ask you those tougher questions, and you're going to have to you're going to have to make that decision into really shifting the energy, shifting the energy, shifting that moment, shifting and restructuring that, so that way you're actually grounded within your Venus energy. Venus in trine with Saturn is a great time for like, you know, to solidify like a relationship, to like propose, to like, you know, really have a larger commitment and to see those breakthroughs in a larger commitment. But you can also see some breakdowns in commitments if they're not stable enough. So just keep that in mind as well. Especially because Venus is also in a square with Neptune, so it's allowing you to see things a lot more clearly. And Cancer season, Cancer energy is very much of that, like, we're trying to do a family. We're trying to make sure that we are staying in that pace. Like, it's either you want to do this with me or you don't. Like, it'll get to that kind of level. So keep that in mind as well. And Saturn will also be in a square with Uranus, which can make things karmically a little bit chaotic. You might see some breakdowns or some breakthroughs with some generational trauma. You might see certain things happen also when it comes to family. You might see things shifting or be a little bit different. You might see certain people, you know, behaving a little bit, you know, different, or, you know, kind of certain things, certain behaviors breaking through, or certain things being shifted, and certain things kind of creating action or stirring up so that it can be healed, it can be addressed, or it can be restructured to some capacity. You might see certain chaos from the past, and you might see certain generational wounds also be triggered during this time. So definitely 1000% be gentle with yourself. Now for the cards, we have the 9 of Cups, the Knight of Swords, the 2 of Pentacles. Okay, then we have the Sun, the 2 of Wands, and the Hangman. Okay, which tells me that for a minute now, some of you have been kind of going through the process of figuring out like how you want to, you know, navigate, especially when it comes to this is what the Capricorn energy is going to focus on, that 9 of Pentacles, that 9 of Cups energy, where it's like you're satisfied, you're happy. Are you in, you know, in a state of bliss? Are you where you wanted to be? If you're not, why not? What is in balance? What has been blocking you from this balance? What has been blocking you from getting there? And when you answer that question, if you say, okay, what's been holding you back? And then like, you're like, oh, you know what? This relationship has been holding me back. Oh my God, this job has been holding me back. Then this is when it's going to be like, okay, so what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? The Sun is going to ask you to come back into happiness, into your strength, and to take control. Okay. And keep in mind, we're inching away to Leo season. So Sun's energy, with the 2 of Wands and the Hangman, it's like, okay, we need to make a decision about how to progress, how to move forward, but it hasn't been done and it needs to be done. So what are you doing? What are you going to do? Are you going to stay in this limbo? Are you going to stay in this Hangman energy? Or are you going to do something about it? Okay. Then we have be spontaneous and abundance. Okay. Some of you have been very much limiting yourselves within, you know, your lives and the things that you have been, and your perception of situations that you're in. And some of you are going to have to like tap into that Jupiter and Aries energy and really just be like, you know what, screw it. Like really throwing your hands up in the air. Mind you, Aries, another cardinal sign, very, very like, you know what, I'm going to just try this. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to continue this kind of cycle. I need to shift it. I need to change it. I need to kind of like shake it up a little bit. So you might find or feel like just kind of snap, doing something. Snap, you know what? Doing something, like just shifting that energy. You're also getting this for this specific moon. Don't let the past hold you back. What do you need to release? Okay. And new moon in Capricorn, your hard work is paying off. Okay. So the question is, what have you been working on? What have you been going towards? What is standing in your way? What do you need to release that is keeping you like in this kind of stuck energy? What do you need to release that's been keeping you in this funk? Okay. Then we have trust in your efforts. Okay. New wonders. That's that 2 of Wands energy calling us to kind of like shake it up and then transition and change, because we are going to be progressing forward anyway. So the question is like, are you going to just keep yourself stuck? How long are you going to entertain being stuck, and like, how do you want things to change? What do you see as the solution? If you were to like give yourself advice, what would you tell yourself? Okay. So yeah, that is the breakdown. I hope that you guys enjoyed the breakdown. I hope that you guys got all of the messages that you needed. Definitely don't forget to check out the link below for the Patreon page, also for my website if you need a reading or all of the things. Definitely check the link down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see y'all in the next video.